chalice, symbol of the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, and our cherished Unitarian Universalist tradition entrusted to us by generations of this congregation and far beyond these walls. And now let us join in our unison affirmation. Advent is a season of anticipation. May we welcome it with the open heart of a child.
Come hope, come faith, come joy, come peace.
I cannot tell you how the light comes. What I know is that it is more ancient than imagining, that it travels across an astounding expanse to reach us, that it loves, searching out what is hidden, what is lost, what is forgotten, or in peril, or in pain. That it has a fondness for the body, for finding its way toward flesh, for tracing the edges of form, for shining forth through the eye, the hand, the heart. I cannot tell you how the light comes, but that it does, that it will, that it works its way into the deepest dark that enfolds you, though it may seem long ages in coming, or arrive in a shape you did not foresee. And so may we this day turn ourselves toward it. May we lift our faces to let it find us. May we bend our bodies to follow the arc it makes. May we open and open more and open still to the blessed light that comes.
There have been some really awful revelations about our social structure and ties during this pandemic time, but there have also been some beautiful revelations. And one of those is that people are getting a little bit better at saying help. This time may be breaking down some of that self-reliance myth that Americans suffer from. The fact is, we really do need each other. Even Henry David Thoreau, during the years he chronicled living in the woods at Walden Pond, had his mother doing the laundry and auntie bringing him pie. It didn't serve his literary aims to say so, and that's his right as an artist. But the fact is that even this icon of individualism had family and neighborly assistance. A couple of weeks ago, a new Congregationalist minister posted a semi-desperate query on Facebook. He asked, did any of us, and it was a clergy group, did any of us happen to have a prayer he could use for the blessing of the stewardship pledges that would be coming into his church that week? He said he was exhausted, burned out, and he said, I got nothing. His tech people needed the recording of this prayer by the next day, and he was hoping that one of us, perhaps more seasoned, had something in our files that we could pull out and share with him. I said, well, what's your stewardship campaign theme? What's your church's mission? And I hoped that by asking these questions, I might inspire him and give him a little burst of energy. And he responded, well, we based our stewardship campaign on the hymn, Great is Thy Faithfulness, and we're singing that on Sunday. Anyway, I wound up offering to compose a prayer for him. I had a little extra prayer energy that week myself, and I wound up listening to that great old hymn about 5 or 6 times over the course of an afternoon in preparation for writing. And that's how I wound up with Great is Thy Faithfulness as an earworm for the next couple of weeks, and it is still with me. The hymn goes, and I don't know how I learned it because I didn't grow up singing it in the Unitarian Universalist Church, but I learned it somewhere along the way, and the refrain goes, Great is Thy faithfulness, great is Thy faithfulness. I'm off tune, but morning by morning new mercies I see. All I have needed Thy hand hath provided. Great is Thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. It's very stirring. And I found a version by the Mormon Tabernacle Choir that's orchestrated and wonderfully grand. myself hearing this refrain go through my mind while waiting in the grocery store checkout line. I sang it to myself while I was in the parking lot of the veterinary hospital waiting for my dog to be examined. I hear it in my head when I'm washing dishes. And as such things happen, this hymn has started to work its way with me. That's the power of repeated prayers, mantras, and affirmations. If you memorize them and say or sing them often enough, they become part of you. Something in me responded to "Great is thy faithfulness." I don't know why it was that I said, yeah, I would love to try to compose a poem based on that hymn. It wasn't just listening to the song on repeat for an afternoon. It was something about the invitation to enter into the message of the song. The issue of faith has always perplexed me in that it has not seemed to be very important at all. And yet, faith in certain things is what most people think about when they think of religion. That's what religion is. The question of not believing in or not having faith in this or that theological claim is actually what deters many people from exploring religious life, spiritual practice, and religious community. I can't blame them. Look at the record. People have hated, persecuted, and murdered each other over faith for as long as there have been people. We might say that, okay, as long as the believer doesn't make their beliefs not ostentatiously public, impose them on others, or discriminate against anyone who doesn't share their faith, all is well. Sometimes that's true, but I've known many, many people to cause themselves immense suffering for what their own faith, or when their own faith was put to the test. They've blamed themselves for losses, for failures, for tragedies. And their thinking goes, well, if only I had more faith, this wouldn't have happened. Or they might blame God for not coming through for them despite their adherence to the beliefs and the practices of faith that they have been taught will be effective in that way. When the monotheistic God, the great I Am, first appears in history to the biblical ancients, God doesn't announce a bunch of beliefs, actually, but rather actions that people should adhere to and actions they should avoid. You shall not kill. You should honor your parents. You should not worship other gods because I am the great sovereign of the universe, and I am a one, I am a unity. Well, I don't know about you, but my own beliefs change quite a bit. At any given time, I'm not entirely sure what I precisely believe about God, or the meaning of life, or why there is such pervasive evil in our species, or why there is such goodness and transcendence. I like thinking about those things, but they don't usually carry me through the dark night. What does carry me is something much more dynamic than faith, and that is faithfulness. When the Lutheran pastor, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, was thrown into a German prison for conspiring with others to assassinate Hitler, he wrote to his fiancée, Maria, on December 13th, 1943, right in the season of Advent, that he wasn't sure why the two of them were caught in such perilous times and circumstances. But no matter what happened to them both, he wrote, they knew who they were and what they were called to do and be and why. And this is exactly what he said. No evil can befall us, whatever men may do to us. They cannot but serve the God who is secretly revealed as love and rules the world and our lives. You can hear in this that Bonhoeffer had a lot of profound faith questions about the why of his tragic predicament and his country's and the world's tragic predicament. And he was executed for his part in the plot. But he did not waver in his faithfulness. There's just a lot more mileage in faithfulness than in faith. No evil can befall us is a strong statement to make when you are on your way to the gallows. Faith can be so static and dry. I know what I believe, and that's that. I believe these things, now I can go make a sandwich. But faithfulness is dynamic. It focuses us and strengthens us even when our beliefs are evolving and changing, and even during those times when we have no faith. I think that latter point is really important because there are many days when spiritual people have no faith. But if we have practices of faithfulness, practices like service, connecting with others in order to listen and express compassion and solidarity, time set aside for quiet contemplation or prayer, engagement with the arts, nurture of the earth, attentive presence with children or elders, practices of reverence. Those things give our lives purpose, beauty, and meaning, whether or not we have faith. When people ask me, what do Unitarian Universalists believe? What do they have faith in? I often reply, I don't know. I can only speak for myself. We don't have a shared faith, I say, but we have shared faithfulness to a set of principles and to the idea that spiritual life is best cultivated and lived in community. So there I was, listening to this grand old hymn and crying and listening again and crying some more. And then I began to get it. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. God, the ground of being, the source of life, is faithful to us and to all of creation. This is a reciprocal relationship. If faith too often says, I'm going to say these prayers to God so God will do something for me, faithfulness says, God is doing. That's it. That's all I know. There is a magnificent interchange and interplay going on here. And I get to be part of it. And I get to plug into it. As we wait in the generative darkness of the Advent season, as we anticipate the inbreaking of the holy in the form of new life, a vaccine, a new administration, greater justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, please know and remember how much strength and solace you may find in all those things, whatever they are, that connect and reconnect you with who you are and whose you are. Our commitment and respect for those interior practices and outward practices are the essence of faithfulness. Play them like a song on repeat so that they may work their way with you and give you, in the words of the hymn, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow. No matter how much your faith is challenged or changed, your faithfulness will remain a firm foundation upon which you can stand safely in all times and in all seasons. Amen. Amen.